I want to start by saying something before I get into this story. I am not someone who scares easily. I have stayed alone in hotels in countries where I didn't speak the language. I have driven through storms that should have killed me. I have walked through some of the roughest neighborhoods in this country for work without flinching. Fear, real fear, was something I thought I was mostly immune to. I was wrong. What happened to me in the Adirondack Mountains a few years ago changed the way I think about being alone. It changed the way I think about locked doors. And it changed something deep inside me that I don't think will ever fully go back to the way it was. So let me take you there. Let me take you up into those mountains with me. My job takes me all over the world. Greece, Italy, all across the United States. Most of the time it's hotels and room service and checkout at 11. But this particular trip, I wanted something different. I wanted to breathe real air. I wanted silence. I wanted to wake up in the morning and hear nothing but trees and wind and my own thoughts. So instead of booking the usual hotel, I opened up Airbnb and started searching for something secluded, something away from everything. And that's exactly what I found. The house was nestled deep in the mountains of the northeastern United States, surrounded by trees that had turned every shade of orange and red and gold you can imagine. If you've never seen the Adirondacks in the fall, I genuinely don't have the words to do it justice. It looks like someone painted the mountains by hand. It looks like a fairy tale. It looks like the kind of place where nothing bad could ever happen. That's the thing about beautiful places. They make you let your guard down. The house itself was stunning. It sat tucked into the trees like it had grown there naturally. The back deck looked out over part of the mountain, this sweeping, breathtaking view that made you feel small in the best possible way. There were jogging trails right outside the door. There was quiet. There was exactly what I was looking for. I booked it immediately and started counting down the days. I arrived on a Friday evening. The drive up was peaceful, the kind of drive where you roll the windows down even though it's cold, because the air just smells too good to pass up. I got to the house, brought my bags inside, poured myself a drink, and sat on that back deck watching the sun go down behind the mountains. I felt completely at ease. I felt like myself again. I called it an early night, climbed into bed, and fell asleep almost instantly. I woke up at 6 in the morning on Saturday feeling rested. I laced up my shoes and headed out onto the trails surrounding the house. The air was sharp and cold and perfect for running. The trees were still in that incredible fall color, and the whole world felt quiet and beautiful and mine. And then the feeling hit me. You know the feeling I'm talking about. That crawling, electric, primal feeling that something is watching you. Not the vague unease of being alone somewhere unfamiliar. This was specific. This was directional. This was the part of your brain that exists purely for survival screaming at you that you are being observed. I tried to shake it off. I told myself I was a city person, that my nervous system just wasn't used to being alone in the wilderness, that anxiety has a way of disguising itself as instinct. I finished my run. I went back inside. I showered. I made coffee. The noises started around mid-morning. Little things at first. A creak from somewhere upstairs. A sound like something shifting its weight. I told myself it was the house settling. Old wooden houses in the mountains make noise, especially in the cold. Of course they do. That's completely normal. I kept telling myself that on a loop like a mantra, like if I repeated it enough times it would become more true. I busied myself around the house, read a little, ate lunch, and tried to ignore the fact that something in my gut had not relaxed since my run that morning. I left for town a little after 3:30 in the afternoon, met my co-workers at a local restaurant, took care of business, and then we all went out for a few drinks. Sitting there in a warm bar surrounded by people, I felt the tension leave my shoulders for the first time all day. I stayed longer than I needed to. I offered to host an after-party at the house. My co-workers declined. It was barely 10 o'clock, and they were already heading back to their hotel. I couldn't blame them, but I also couldn't explain to them why I was so reluctant to go back alone without sounding completely out of my mind. I drove back up the mountain talking to myself out loud, repeating the same things over and over. It's just a house. Houses make noise. You are safe. You have done nothing wrong and nothing is coming for you. I pulled into the driveway, sat in the car for a moment, took a breath, and went inside. I checked the locks 3 times. Front door, back door, sliding door to the deck. Checked them all 3 times each. Then I went upstairs and got into bed. I was exhausted enough that I thought sleep would come fast. It didn't. I would drift off for 20 minutes and then snap awake at some sound from somewhere in the house. A creak, a scrape, something that sounded almost like breathing but couldn't possibly be. I tried playing music from my phone to drown it out. The music just gave the sound something to hide behind. By midnight, I had given up on sleep entirely. I decided to go outside, smoke a cigarette, and seriously consider just packing my bags and driving back to the city. I grabbed my coat, my phone, and my cigarettes and made my way downstairs. The stairs opened into the living room. To the left was the dining room and kitchen, a large open space with a sliding glass door at the back that led to the deck. That was where I was headed. I stepped off the last stair, turned left, and took one step into the dark room. That's when I saw it. There was a shape in the kitchen. A shadow where the moonlight coming through the window should have been uninterrupted. My brain tried to explain it away in the half-second before it could fully process what it was seeing. It's furniture. It's a coat rack. It's a trick of the light. It's nothing. I turned on the light. And I want you to understand something. There are moments in life that get burned into you. Not just into your memory, but into something deeper. Something cellular. Something that changes the actual chemistry of who you are. What I saw when that light came on is one of those moments. I will carry it for the rest of my life. Standing in my kitchen was a man. He was over 6 feet tall. His hair was long and shaggy, hanging around his face like he hadn't seen a mirror in months. His beard was thick and unkempt. He looked like he was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. He was hunched forward slightly, shoulders curved, and he was staring at me with an expression I still cannot fully describe. Not anger, not surprise, something worse, something empty and distant and completely unhinged from reality. We stood there looking at each other. It couldn't have been more than 10 or 15 seconds. It felt like an entire chapter of my life passed in that silence. Then he ran at me. Full sprint. No warning. No words. Just this large, wild-looking man suddenly launching himself across the kitchen straight at me. The only thing that saved me in that moment was the kitchen island sitting between us. He had to go around it. Those 2 or 3 seconds were all I needed. I turned and ran back up the stairs faster than I have ever moved in my life, threw myself into the bedroom, and locked the door behind me. I ran to the closet, pressed myself into the corner, and called 911. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. I gave them the address. I told them to hurry. The dispatcher stayed on the line with me, calm and steady, telling me that someone was on the way. I held on to her voice like it was the only solid thing in the world. And then he started hitting the door. Not knocking, not trying the handle, hitting it. Hard, thunderous strikes that shook the frame. And between each strike, he was talking. What he was saying was somehow more terrifying than the violence of it. He kept saying that he loved her, that he had changed, that she needed to let him explain. He was not talking to me. He couldn't hear me when I screamed through the door that he had the wrong person. He couldn't hear anything I said. He was somewhere else entirely, in some version of reality that only existed inside his own fractured mind. And in that reality, I was someone he had decided he deserved to have back. I watched the wood of the door begin to split. His fist came through once, then again. The hole was getting bigger. I could see his hand reaching through, fingers splayed, grasping at the air inside the room. And then I heard sirens. I heard car doors. I heard boots on the porch. I heard shouting. And I heard a crash from the other side of the door, so loud it rattled the walls. I didn't wait. I threw open the bedroom window, climbed out onto the small roof below it, and started working my way down. A police officer spotted me almost immediately and helped me to the ground. Inside, they had tackled the man to the floor just as his arm was fully through the door, just as he was about to reach the handle from the inside. They called the owner of the house that night to piece together who he was. He was her ex-fiancé. He had disappeared after their breakup months earlier, gone completely off the grid. What the police found inside one of the closets of that house told the story of just how long he had been there. Beer cans, empty snack wrappers, a makeshift nest built in the dark, inside the walls of a home that someone else was now renting out to strangers. He had been living in that closet for days. He was there when I arrived on Friday. He was there during my jog when I felt those eyes on me. He was there making those sounds I kept dismissing as the house settling. He was there in the dark every single night, listening to me move around, listening to me sleep, listening to me convince myself over and over again that I was safe and alone and that nothing was wrong. And when the police searched him after the arrest, they found a knife from the kitchen tucked into his belt loop. The dispatcher told me later that they believed I had caught him in the act of going to retrieve it from the kitchen when I came downstairs. If I had stayed in bed, he would have had it before I ever knew he was there. If I hadn't decided to go outside for that cigarette at that exact moment, this story ends differently. This story doesn't get told at all. I triple-checked those locks. I checked them obsessively, the way a person does when fear makes them careful. And none of it mattered. Because the thing I was afraid of was never outside the door. It was already inside the house.